Fingers on the beats.
J to the F to the fuck you. Now that I got that out the way, fuck you. Lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. Prepare to be slaughtered. Prepare to be targeted. You can't fuck with my heart and shit. Yeah, this is lights out. For my brothers, get your whole fam wiped out. For my fam. And get your whole universe destroyed. Take your face all cast Detroit. I'm a disaster boy, extinction level asteroid. Impact and smashing noise, born in the blackest void. He talk shit, he ain't know who he's facing. I cheese grade him, get savage, that's the TNathan. No patience like they shut down the hospital. Wins against me, it's not possible, not probable. Man, it's all illogical. I've been sick, this shit is chronicle. Hands we hold them, the face shows how we fold them. Y'all keep making noise trying to get noticed. Y'all can't see me, you got no focus. I show up, they disappear. Hocus pocus, this is war, no respect. When your pores come to sweat. When I call on Artie from 41 Select. Target select, target acquisition. When them shells rain down, you look like a bad car collision. Come get it, come with it. I beat them into submission or play it safe and hit them from some distance. Long range, close range, however I deliver. Shit you gonna remember, I go for kill shots, it's not to injure. Man, these bars got no hold. Show them how to use the flow. Man, you can't move the flow. They stay pissed off, cause I'm this hard. I launch rocket raccoons, countdown to lift off.
Listen, hit 'em. Hit them with my missile, blow they spaceship the fuck up, decapitate, Russian sickle. Ravishing Brock rude, disrespectful nigga, hakalugi up in your food. Shit, far from a small fry, knuckle up two black guys from black guys. Listen, man, bust flames I don't miss. No game, long range, turn your dome to red mist. People on TikTok, face to face with Brock, talk shit, you get knocked out. David, conservative static, sight picture bust rounds, hunting season, you silly rabbit. Tricks for kids. Act bananas, I will kill you. When I step, I crush Sydney blocks, Eddie Brock, Godzilla. Face me, face to feet, get beat, hands and feet, turn your face to mince meat. Listen, yo. I'm not no hero. Forward, down, forward, high punch, grab spine, sub-zero. Can't forget about Robbie. Have him run into the cops crying, Brock just robbed me. Damn, pussy. Street fighter with black fist. KO uppercut, bitch nigga.
Yo. Welcome to the July the 4th edition of Conversations with TNathan. On the screen in the background, if you can see it, that's James Baldwin. I'm not your Negro. It's always inspiration, always inspiration. So, hope all of you all are being safe out there, and everybody that is listening, and whatever you got going on. Hope you all are being safe. Who are we listening to? That my opening song is by Dr. Fingers, and if y'all get a chance, see him, Dr. Fingers and Eddie Brock. And they wrote that song and they put me in it. Yeah, they put me in it, and that was before the show, so I had to make it my theme song, intro song for the show. So that's who you were listening to. That is, and if you see Dr. Fingers around, you may you if you know Eddie Brock's voice, you know Eddie Brock's voice. You can hear him. You can hear him. And Dr. Fingers is gonna always announce himself on every track. Every track is gonna be Dr. Fingers on the mic. Yeah. So, how are you all doing? How y'all doing? Hope you all are being safe out there with so many people exercising their Second Amendment rights today by firing their guns into the air, killing clouds in residential neighborhoods with children. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're exercising our constitutional rights. They are. My position is I got some rest for my ancestors. I got some rest for my ancestors. Plus, Bella doesn't like gunfire, so she has been under under me all day. Hey, she's on the bed now, looking at me like, "Are you talking about me?" Of course, I'm talking about you. So, yeah, you can tell the topic for today is going to be the Democratic Party and some delusions and some questions. We're still questioning because we got more information today out of the meeting that Joseph Biden held with the Democratic governors that had some concerns after his debate performance. And we got another version of events from press secretary today as to why the performance was so bad. So we got another explanation, clarifications, whatever we want to call it. We got some more of those today. Find out that at one time he went to the doctor, another time he didn't go to the doctor. Communications lines are very crossed at the moment. I also watched a medal ceremony yesterday that Biden was speaking at, and there's some feedback going on the radio interview he gave to a Philadelphia radio show. And I took the opportunity to listen to the show. I took the opportunity to listen to more than just the sound bite that people have going around. And yeah, it's some rambling. It's some rambling on there. But I think more of it's a rambling associated with like radio, some of it. And I'm definitely not trying to justify or make a lesson any of the other rambling because the rambling that disturbed me was not the rambling that was even in the sound bites that they were playing. It's not the ramblings that were in the sound bite that I had a problem with. So we're going to talk about this. I'm going to read some comments that I've gotten um, on on the station on the station's email and some comments people have left me because I guess they didn't take kindly to me talking about what 75% of registered voters are talking about. So, but don't shoot the messenger because this messenger will shoot back. So you can like it or not. It is the conversation that is going on, and I guess we need to get into it. So the first part I'm going to address is going to be what was said in this article. So I got this article up here. Let me pull it up where I can read the notes I made that I wanted to get across. But the article is from the the conversation and meeting he had with those Democratic governors that had their druthers about what was going on. So this is what Joe Biden told them. Um, President Biden told a gathering of Democratic governors that he needed to get more sleep and work fewer hours, including curtailing events after 8 p.m. And that was from several people inside. And when I heard those remarks, right, I was like, whose big plan was it to think that it was a big plan to say that? Yeah, whose fears did that elate? I'm not grasping it. I'm not understanding whose fears did that, you know, allay in any way, shape, or form that the president of the free world, and people don't like it when I talk about the physical component of this job because if you've watched every president that takes office is aged according to their age. Like you look at Barack Obama when he first went in, and you look at Barack Obama 8 years later. Of course, it's 8 years, but the office ages you. Every president that has been in office has, except Ronald Reagan. I don't know. Ronald Reagan looked the same when he went in and when he came out. Yeah, he just looked the same. He was, I guess, cut differently. I don't know, but he looked the same when he went in and then when he looked came out. Um, but obviously, it's not just the look in this case. I was watching some video from 2019 of President Biden on the election, on the campaign trail performances at debates. And watching those now, as comparatively speaking, you can tell. And anybody who thinks you can't tell, because you right. And then people were talking about like we knew he was old and we got him. Yeah, sure. But how many of y'all were expecting him to run for a second term? Because in his words, he was a transitional president. But we'll get into that because I have I still have questions that no one seems to want to answer directly without deflecting. Um, First and foremost, all of you all who act like I don't know who Donald Trump is and what he represents, yeah, covered it. The whole entire presidency. Yeah, I covered it. I understand what he represents, but that doesn't I don't see how y'all can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. I don't see why it's always have to be a deflection from when we're talking about the shortcomings presently, that the first thing you all want to do is talk about, well, Donald Trump. We know that. And as a matter of fact, I am talking to you people who are saying that you're going to vote blue because you can't deal with Donald Trump in office. And I can't seem to get someone to not deflect from my direct question. And my direct question for those who have committed to making sure Donald Trump does not get back in office and saying that you are voting blue, why is it that you won't listen to 75% of registered voters who tell you that you need another candidate? You could pick another blue candidate. Yeah, any functional adult would probably be better. But at the end of the day, I don't understand all the pushback to the idea that you have candidates that should have been primaried in the first place that are more than capable of taking this office. I mean, if Donald Trump can do it, you mean to tell me you all can't get behind any of the same people you all say you support? When 75 fireworks, when 75% of registered voters are asking you, I don't get it. I do not get it. I do not get the problem because let's break it down. And I want you all to listen without deflecting because I'm actually trying to help you all come up with a plan B so you all don't lose this election. I have a vested interest in you all winning the election also. So you get to the point where you all say, we're, our primary objective is to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't hold office. You also have to factor into that a large swath of the electorate is not going to vote for either one of those two people. I'm not talking about a small swath. I'm talking about a large swath of never Trumpers, never Bidens. And they are telling you that if you they would you have Republicans that have come out like Adam Kinzinger and support Joe Biden because they're committed to not letting Donald Trump back in. Liz Cheney committed to not letting Donald Trump back in. If their party is going to run Donald Trump, they're telling you they're going to vote for the Democratic candidate. So you have this large swath of never either of those, and the large portion of that swath is telling you that what would motivate them to support your party is if you had a different person at the top of the ticket. Because let me tell you all something. As quiet as it's kept, or as delusional as some of you all don't want to acknowledge, you might not understand the political machinations that are going on. But there are a lot of these Democrats that are in tight races or um, just barely blue areas, and they're looking at the same thing of down ticket voting. If you don't understand it, that low voter turnout helps the Republicans. If low voter turnouts can help the Republicans, and I want to address because I think people, because I talk about it's the timing about how late it is in the nomination process and all that. Um, the nomination has not technically been given yet. If you all don't understand that Donald Trump is the presumptive Republican nominee and Joseph Biden is the presumptive Democratic nominee. They're not the full nominee until after their respective conventions. The Republican National Convention will take place in Wisconsin, and the Democratic National Convention will take place in Chicago. The Republican National Convention is in a few weeks, and the Democratic National Convention is in August of this year. So that's when they actually physically become more than presumptive and become the nominee. Now, there's a certain thing as a brokered convention. And I think that's what you all are in. I really do. I really think, unless something dramatic happens in the next several days, either you all are going to have to replace him now, or you all going to have a brokered convention. Because I have watched, I mean, I know some people watch delusionally and they don't listen, but I watched Nancy Pelosi change her positions within a 24-hour period. I watched James Clyburn, and I don't even like James Clyburn. I watched him hedge his position. I've watched certain machinations going on, that these governors went to the White House because they had concerns. So a lot of you all are saying the deflection you all are giving is not the same as what you're watching your Democratic leadership do. While some of them are paying the lip service, you have some that are saying one thing while working on another. All right. Some of them are saying one thing while working on another. So, dun dun dun. There is that. Also, we can get to the. Oh, uh, hold on, hold that thought. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. I'll give that to take care of. Okay, I'm back. So, done. Oh, do it. Okay, okay. Hold on. Crumb snatcher to answer text messages. Have to answer text messages and all right. So, um, let's take a look at some of the comments that I got in accordance with me just bringing this up, and it's interesting, right? Because this is my version. This is my copy of the Constitution, and it actually is like my fourth or fifth copy recently of it, because I write in it, dog ear it, and I read it. I actually read it to not just look at the pretty pictures on the front. But people who, even though I can give accurate history and talking about um, government and government function, people that have never taken a civics class will presume to tell me something about the Constitution um, that they're incorrect with, or they will make comments with the inference that shows me they don't understand how government works. Now, let's start here. Um, these are comments I've received. People do not understand the job of president. They don't have a schedule. Most times they are doing things from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. Most days, most times 24 hours if they have to. Not defending anyone, but someone asking for sleep is not something for people to go crazy over. No. See, but that's not what happened. They weren't asking like I need a nap, you know. They were saying that they're going to cartel their activities after 8 p.m. so they can get some sleep. Did you hear me? They're going to curtail their activities so they can get some sleep. That's their words. They say they need sleep. They sit around, and this is the thing that gets me. One of the excuses was he had a cold. Then they said that he didn't see a doctor afterwards. This is the president of the United States. I thought from what I can understand, presidents have access to the best health care in the world, and they can see doctors whenever they get want to. They have one doctor that is on staff for the president of the United States, a presidential doctor. Then it was like they blamed it on the fact that they had been traveling and they were tired from the international travel that they did. They got back from international travel 12 days before the debate. Do you understand? 12 days before the debate. Now, uh, I've had jet lag. I have. I'm an insomniac. I'm just gonna put that out there, so it's different. But I've had jet lag, but I've never had jet lag that lasted 12 days. I don't know about you. And for people that like tell me that Joseph Biden is 81 years old, damn, you for real? For real? For real. It's like these are the same people that'll say stupid shit like this to me, like I don't know it, that also was telling Dianne Feinstein it was time to go. It was time for her to go. And she held on until it was too late. Yeah, these are people that I will prove that the political science degree is more than just something written on a piece of paper, and that Joseph Biden has been in government um, all of my life, and I have actually been. I have actually watched bills that he has authored go into effect. So I don't really need you to tell me how old he is. I literally said 81 years old in all of my videos. Matter of fact, when he was elected president, I said he would be 82 years old if he was elected again. So maybe I just think I'm the slow one. But as I was saying, people will say these stupid ass things right to me, like I'm not talking about them. Like I'm not talking about them. Like I don't have a grandmother who would go back and forth to Ghana and not be tired 12 days later that she couldn't do things. And she was older than Joseph Biden on some of those last trips. So, yes, I understand. But you all are deflecting from the obvious point that it's not me you should be arguing with. You should be arguing with your mamas, but you should be arguing with those 75% of registered voters are telling you what they would feel comfortable with and how you can accomplish that. Now that we get past the delusional part, let's deal with how you I got another comment. Got another comment. My opinion, only I'd rather he get more sleep than being on a golf course 12 hours a day. Shitting his pants. I understand totally his age is a factor, but no one is telling Mitch McConnell to step down. Why not? I've seen plenty of people call for Mitch McConnell to step down. But the last time I checked, Mitch McConnell didn't have access to the nuclear codes. Mitch McConnell was not seeking the office of president of the United States. I mean, that's deflection. You're deflecting from what we are talking about to somebody else. Now, we're not talking about them in that conversation. I mean, Mitch McConnell is not in this article. That article over there, yeah, the camera angle is not in the article where he told the governors that he was needing to get more sleep. So I'm not talking about Mitch McConnell. I am talking about the president. And then they go on to say, if they decide to choose another candidate, that will be the U.S. That'll put the U.S. in danger, and Donald Trump become an authoritarian dictator. Froze on stage twice during a speech. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more older congressmen than older than Biden. Democrats need to hold their horses. Trump got more rest than that when he was. Yeah. Anyway, and that's why I say that's part of the deflection to Trump, and I, that's like that's like somebody asking me a question about what are my plans for the future, and I started talking about the color of the tennis shoes I have on today. I'm asking you about the plans for the future. So I just amazes me like we're not having this conversation because we don't understand the threat that Donald Trump poses. Yeah, y'all are stupid. y'all are stupid because you don't want to listen to the people who are telling you what it takes to get them motivated to get off the couch and vote. You all could have a candidate that doesn't have the age, and you act like you don't live in the United States where appearances matter. We live in one of the most visual societies in the world where optics, a whole ass word was created to talk about how things appear in political or other situations. Now, it doesn't say that what they actually are. It talks about how things appear. And right now, what the Biden campaign is battling is bad optics. And when we're talking about how to recover, and all you all are talking about is how to dig your 26% asses in place, it's not going to be you lost the White House because of a lack of. It's because you don't want to meet the people that are telling you that I will come and vote with you. But we need somebody who we can not associate with genocide and not have the optics of being too old. Yeah. And then we get to the point. Now, I was talking the other day about possible candidates that could replace him at the top of the ticket. And I mentioned Gavin Newsom, mentioned Gretchen Whitmore, I mentioned Pete Buttigieg, and I mentioned Kamala Harris. Now, let's address the first elephant in the room. If all of you all have this, who have decided to vote blue because you don't want Donald Trump in office, all of you all are you committed to that? I just want to know, are you before we go further, are you committed to not having Donald Trump in office? Are we committed to that? Because if you're committed to that, then any of those candidates would do. I'm committed to it. Even though there's a better case for one candidate than all the rest of them, and I'm gonna get into that. So if you're committed to that, and you can also get the votes you needed to ensure that by getting the people that are never Trumpers and never Bideners to come and vote for your candidate, why won't you entertain that? Why won't you entertain that? That's what I'm saying. The people that are committed, if you're committed, all these people I see running around talking about voting blue, you're committed to making sure that Donald Trump doesn't get in office. Well, why don't y'all have a plan that extends past Joseph Biden? Because you all say, oh, he's the only person that's beaten Donald Trump. I will point out that there's only one election that he's won. Uh, he wasn't running against him when Hillary ran. He won if it's a Democratic, it's a split. So you all say that like that would be a great if your battling percentage was 50%, you're just a winner. Yeah, that's crazy. But the idea is that many people have beat Donald Trump. If you look at the hand-picked candidates he did for the midterms, most of them lost. That's why a red wave didn't emerge. That's why the Senate was held on to by the Democrats. You all say like that's not there. When you have a voting percentage that are telling you that the number of people necessary for either candidate to win, we're talking about both these candidates are polling in 40, 43, and 44 and 47%. Hello, what about the rest of these people? You know why they're not polling more? Because most of those people are saying, I am never voting for either one of these candidates. You had a large swath of people in the Republican primary voting for Nikki Haley even after she got her stupid ass out. Yeah. And anybody who doesn't know why the Civil War was fought is stupid to me. Okay? Feel the way you want to about it. But yeah, so you had a large swath of people still ready to vote for a stupid candidate before they would vote for Donald Trump. And you all are not doing anything that is going to say, how do we turn those people out? You had a whole season of protests at college campuses and universities and other protests across this country, free Palestine rallies, anti genocide rallies, and your candidate is deeply associated with that, deeply associated with it. And those people are telling you that they're not going to vote for him. They're not. And you all are not using any strategy. And I'm gonna address the why it's not. It's you all don't have a lot of time, but you have the time because this is the I want to address in radio. I know y'all can't see comments, so that's why I'm telling you. But I want to address that comment that it's too late. Yeah, it's a third party candidate is not saving. Is not going to swoop in and save this. It's going to have to be one of the major major parties is the only one capable of reaching 270 electoral colleges votes to be president. No matter how you feel about that, that is the truth. So all these third party candidates you are talking about, they're not going to reach the threshold. Stop playing. And plus, if you all were so committed with these third party candidates, why they only come up in election years for president? Where are they at in their local government seeking office? They come up on these dates, and it's like, oh, yeah, this sounds good. Anyway, but that's a delusion too. We get to the point that of the four candidates that I mentioned, this is what you have to keep into effect. That we live in 2024, not 1924. So if the Democrats replace their candidate now, it's not like it's going to take a month before the West Coast finds out. If the Democrats take this opportunity at the height of the publicity of the press to replace their candidate, that will be known instantaneous. There are people in the deepest, darkest recesses of Iran who are going to know that you replaced the person running for president of the United States with a candidate from their party. Yeah, it's going to it will happen, and that's the reality of the world we live in. That's why I say when some people say those things, and I be like, "What planet do you all live on now?" It will become instantaneous. It will be a news cycle. The Democrats could take advantage of the news cycle all the way from. They could steal thunder from the Republicans. They can become Donald Trump's talking points because Republicans know how to politic better than Democrats do. They could steal the thunder of the news cycle from everyone. Everyone. Donald Trump playing golf is is stealing the news cycle from you all. Donald Trump saying the things he usually says. And you all, we have a whole news cycle built on it because people are like, oh, we have a leaked video that somebody took of Donald Trump disparaging the character of Kamala Harris and Joseph Biden. He has done that on stage at rallies. I need y'all to get it together. I need y'all to get it together. So when we have this conversation, you have to think about the following: that unless racism or misogyny is going to play a part, and if those are playing a part in your decision, you're not committed to getting Donald Trump not keeping Donald Trump from office. Stop lying to yourselves and just go sit down in a corner somewhere. But if those two things, or you all have to admit that those are the two things. If those are the two things, and you only want an old white man, stick with your stick with your candidate, and those people that are going to stay at home are going to stay at home because the Republicans have a larger energized base at this moment than you Democrats do. You all have a candidate that, while racist Republicans might not like Donald Trump, but they'll still vote for him. People who don't like genocide are not going to vote for Joseph Biden. uh, Call it what you want to, feel about it how you want to. That is the reality of the situation. They're not going to vote for Joseph Biden, no matter what flowery words you give them, no matter how you talk about what will happen. They're like, no, you all run Joseph Biden. I'm not voting for either candidate. You have an opportunity to change that. Now, I was going to talk about the fact that three of those candidates, they would have to build up, well, yeah, three of them, because instantly Gavin Newsom is going to bring money to his campaign instantly. Gretchen Whitmore, she's going to have some money. Pete Buttigieg, I don't know how much money he has left in his war chest from when he ran for president, but it's not going to be anywhere comparative to the money that Kamala Harris has access to if she was to get the nomination or if Joseph Biden would step aside for her. And the reason because all of the money that has been fundraised for Joseph Biden's presidency, Kamala Harris is on that same paperwork as the Vice President of the United States. It's called the Biden Harris ticket, and all of the money that is raised as a fundraiser for the Biden Harris ticket, um, Kamala Harris would have all that. She would have it, and none of the everybody else has to work to get money because they're not on the paperwork for those donations that have gone to the Biden Harris campaign. So, and I don't understand the argument from people that say they're willing to do anything it takes to keep Trump from getting into office, that they wouldn't have the numbers because you're still doing the same thing. Unless some of those people are willing to admit that I'm a racist or a misogynist and I'm not voting for a woman. I'll rather have Donald Trump in office, and I'm not voting for a black woman because I definitely a black Indian woman because I would definitely rather have Donald Trump in office. That's what you're telling me, and that's the part that is so telling to me that I can't get people to acknowledge that. Yeah, you all are not committed to your idealism. You're only committed to your idealism as long as the criteria is an old white man. Because the money argument I just told you, she would have the same access to the same funds that Joseph Biden would have had. All she would need is to not lose you all support for all of you all who say you all want Donald Trump to not get in office. Mm-mm. Yeah. All right. Well, I always also say that you Democrats also have your moral compass pointed in some kind of way that is not oriented to the reality of the real world. Um, yeah, y'all are not. You all are not seeing what you all are losing because you're so much on this high horse that you can't understand the reality that 75%, perhaps I need to say that again. 75% of registered voters are telling you all things, and your elitist, stupid asses are not listening to them because somehow y'all don't, y'all not Janet Jackson fans. What have you done for me lately? I watched the same debate. I analyzed it live in real time, and I watched them deflect from questions of what they were going to do for the black community, child care. I watched them both deflect on direct questions. Well, Donald Trump, for to be honest, deflected and lied. But this, you all act like you all can't see that these are two independent problems and that they do have more than one solution. That's what you all act like. You all act like you all are cult members while accusing supporters of being cult members because you don't want to see the shortcomings of your candidate and how you all can actually put yourselves in a better position by forming a coalition with those never Trumpers. You don't see that. And anybody who talks about it, you act like they're the enemy instead of trying to say, hey, maybe you need to read some Sun Tzu, The Art of War, some 40 Laws of Power, or something, because Machiavelli is turning over in his graves watching you all dig in on these moral points that are not are going to lead. That's why the Democrats can't get anything efficiently done because y'all have these moral standing points that are not rooted in reality. Like right now, we run around talk about the overturning of Roe versus Wade. There were several times in the history of Roe versus Wade that you had a Democratic president, a Democratically controlled Congress, and you all could have codified Roe versus Wade into law. You could have, didn't. You didn't. You could have codified it into law, but you didn't because you were thinking about your next election and not what is good for the people. That's why it amazes me that you all don't see that you all left Roe versus Wade hanging there, like the Supreme Court hasn't proven in the past that it is only as morally compasses direct as the people who appoint them. Greetings and salutations to everybody, especially my nieces, nephews, and my sisters, my mother, my grandmother who are listening to me. Big shout out. Thank you for your support, as always. I think my bestie is sick. Bestie sick. Okay, and I got a comment. Let's see. Let's read it. Devil's advocate. They say she had one job, the border, and she failed. I don't agree. I figure if we can get over the 1994 crime bill, need I go, mother? If we got over if we got over the 1994 crime bill to put Joseph Biden in office, l- y- and the border crisis is something that actually is manufactured more than it is realistic because I can't even compare criminal stats because people and not to you know I was talking to somebody and telling them that undocumented immigrants actually commit crimes at a astonishing lower level than the population of this country, right? The people in the population, because this person was pointing that no, but it is undocumented. They called them illegal immigrants, but I don't know what they mean illegal because it's actually not illegal. It's just undocumented. But hey, not going to sit around and argue with people who don't know how to spell Constitution. But they're undocumented, and they were talking about, oh, they killed this girl, and it says, do you understand that there was a shooting? There was a shooting on Nebraska where this 74-year-old white man managed to he unalived he shot himself and killed himself, but he shot 7 Guatemalan immigrants for not speaking English. For not speaking English. Immigrants are more often the victim of crimes than they are the perpetrators. But people that bring up those stats while also sending thoughts and prayers to people that are to the victims of mass shootings are really funny for me. Black people are really funny when they allow themselves to be manipulated into thinking that number one, a black job exists, or number two, that somehow immigrants are the cause of the disparities and problems that we face in this country. Because I remind you, there were no immigrants doing anything that we were protesting for in 1965, 1967, the March on Washington. It wasn't because of immigrants. Nothing we were talking about in 2020, which were the same things we were talking about in 1965, 1955, 1855, were caused by immigrants. There is no way you're going to convince me that you thought that any of the trickle of crumbs that is being spent on our immigration laws in this country for unhoused and um, immigrants seeking asylum for countries that they are fleeing because of American intervention was ever going to you. Yeah, yeah, you're just talking point. Donald Trump stands up and talk and says that immigrants are coming into this country and taking black jobs, and you all go on a lose your mind tear. And it's to both sides because I see in response to that, maybe because I don't respond to provocation in the same way, but I saw all these videos where all these established black people were like responding to this by saying, "Well, I'm black and I'm a doctor," and I'm like, why? Why? Who are you proving this to? Like, we don't know we have black doctors, black lawyers, black everything. Like, who are you proving this to? Why am I standing up to validate this point. I laughed. I laughed, but I laughed when he said it at the church, 180-degree church in Detroit. But people act like they didn't hear it then. I laughed when he first formed Black Americans for Trump, and he said it at rallies. But a lot of you all just claimed to be listening, and that showed me that you all were not. Because a lot of you all were acting surprised or, oh, black jobs, y'all all up in arms. What? You all say you all follow politics and you didn't know this man has been saying this on the campaign trail? Been saying it. I did a video about it like months ago when he said it. But I even said that if a immigrant that comes to this country after walking thousands of miles on their feet with a child or with their family, crosses the border by swimming across the Rio Grande and get to this country, and English is not even their primary language, and they take your job, you didn't have a job. You didn't have a job. Sitting around in the Lowe's parking lot waiting for a pickup for the day to go do some menial labor, that's not a job. That's not a job. You don't have a job. People saying that who don't understand that it takes a social security number to get an extra job in this country unless you're working under the table. And if you're working under the table, you don't have a job. You don't have a job. You don't have any benefits with that job. You're working under the table. You can be let go at any time. And you're putting yourself in a precarious position if you're saying that's black jobs. That's black jobs. Yeah. So yeah, you really y'all really amaze me. You all really amaze me when that is the position that you take because you're going to lose that position. I wish I would. There have been things people will say, well, TNathan this and you do this, and I'll be like, you what? You think I'm going to justify this by having a conversation with you? It was like today. I was in a live and they were I was in a live and I meant to to talk about it and do a video on it. But I was in a live and I was watching people argue with somebody who didn't know that a bill could originate in the House or the Senate. They said the only way a bill originates is if it originates in the House and then it goes into the Senate. Like they didn't know that all bills except those under um the, the exception clause are oriented either house, in the House or in the Senate. And I'm like, why would I argue with somebody who doesn't understand basic government? Why am I arguing with somebody who doesn't understand how the Senate and the Congress function? Why do I take anything they say seriously? And why am I arguing with them? I don't mind combating the misinformation that they put out there, but these are the same people that act like my copy of the Constitution doesn't work while you're arguing with somebody who's showing you that they don't have a working copy of the Constitution. But you're arguing with them. Why is that? I can't get anybody to tell me. I think I understand it because y'all just want clicks and views, and you think arguments bring clicks and views, I guess. But yeah, you're arguing with people who don't have working definitions of basic civics. Basic. I'm not talking about anything extreme, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know what would be extreme in the Constitution that somebody didn't understand. I think they were arguing about mm, fourth Section 4 of the 14th Amendment. They've argued about that. They've argued about presidential succession. None of this is complicated. The Constitution is not that long, people. It's not. It's not like it's War and Peace. It's not like it's, you know, Project 2025 or anything with 920 pages. It's not. So in that capacity, it astonishes me. And then I see people also. Well, I mentioned Project 2025. Can somebody show me the video, the audio, or anything in which Donald Trump has talked about Project 2025? Can somebody share that with me? I would like that audio. Of all the rallies I've watched and all the things I've seen. Now I've seen his website where he talks about um, Agenda 47, which I think is also more relevant because he claims that 47. I've never seen him talk about Project 2025. I've seen Donald Trump talk about his need for revenge, and I can let me bring up have hold on. Let me check because Project 2025 talking points. I had made some notes on some talking points of Project 2025 because I also tell people that one of the things when they're talking about Project 2025 is that dun, dun, is that I've heard all these points before. Literally all these points before. They're not new. They date back to let's see, I want to put it on. I'm on the computer. I guess I can just transfer it to my phone. Oh, tight. But yeah, somebody while I'm waiting. Right. This the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundations and I hate to break it to you all, but the Heritage Foundation and their position is not new. It's not new. I understand people think it's new, but it's not. Let's see. Uh, boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun. Mm-mm. A little tight while I pull this up. Mm, the transfer from my computer to my phone. Luckily, we have set it up. Mm-mm. All right. And some of the talking points of Project 2025 um, that have always been talking about. Um, yeah, y'all, wherever you all are, you all, whatever platform you're looking, if you're looking at me, hey, if you're listening to me on the radio, hello, um, yeah, and understand some of you all, I can't, comments as they come in, but I'm reading comments from everywhere. I will get to you as I can. Project 2025. And I said, this is not a boogeyman to me because, I've read, I read all 920 pages and it's a day out of my life I can never get back. But I have to know what I'm talking about, so I read. So one of the tenets of Project 2025 is to eliminate the Department of Education. Not new, ever since the Department of Education has come into existence, there's been somebody at odds with it for one reason or another. So, the elimination of the project of Department of Education, not new. Use public funds to pay for private religious schools. The charter voucher system is been a part of each part. Each part is sometime history, not new. Encourage Christian indoctrination through public schools. We had that before we eliminated prayer in school, before Mary Margaret Mead, before her campaign. That's what it was. It was about indoctrination, and we're watching that come back even without under the present administration. We just watched two states, Oklahoma and Louisiana, mandate the Ten Commandments. And Oklahoma went as far as to say they were going to mandate the Bible be taught in school. Um, hey, I think my niece just came. My niece has let me know she's in here. What's up, niece of mine? Love you, biological type. Um, eliminate no fault divorce. You know how long Californians have been struggling with trying to eliminate no fault divorce, and no fault divorce. That is so misogynistic. That is yes, a man. Of course, the writers of Project 2025 compiled it from mostly other um, man-made documents. Man-made, not in hands, but men, people with penises. Yeah, this is their idea. So then we get to dismantle civil rights and diversity, equity, inclusion programs at all level of the government. Yeah. Affirmative action also went the way of the dinosaur under this president. So dismantling the civil rights movement, people have been trying to dismantle the minute gains of the last civil rights era ever since they occurred. We watched Arkansas recently have to go to the circuit court because they said that the only department that could bring suit under the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was the government. That eliminated agencies like the ACLU and the NAACP. So that's nothing new. Totally ban all abortions, regardless of vitality or health to the mother. Roe versus Wade was overturned because the Democrats failed to codify it into law. I said that, and I mean that. I stand by that. I stand by that. The Democrats had plenty of opportunities to codify Roe versus Wade into law, and they didn't. And all contraceptives. You know what I always thought was funny about that? It's been trying to happen also. Ban all contraceptives. Are you all going to ban those socks that stand up in the corner by themselves also? Anybody? Y'all gonna ban those too? Anyway, not new, not new. Ban African American and gender studies in all levels of education. Is that new? And these just some of the points that I noticed in um, Project 2025 that I wanted to tell about. It's and that's why somebody just commented that it's easier to use it as a lever, talking about Roe versus Wade, to gain votes if something was not done with it. If it was at risk, and that's what the Democrats did, used it as, and it backfired on them. But they should never used it. If they cared about women's body autonomy, they would have codified it into law a long time ago. They would have codified it under Bill Clinton. They could have codified it under Barack Obama. They could have codified it um, when they had control of the House and the Senate under a Republican president, but they didn't. So when we are running around here talking about Roe being overturned, understand they could have stopped it. So, but white men will white men no matter what party they're in when it comes to the reproductive rights and body autonomy of women, regardless of the party you're in, because if they want all this gashing of teeth that is taking place now, they're still doing the same thing. They're going to use Roe versus Wade as a talking point to run a campaign. And even if they win, I guarantee you, they're not going to codify it into law again. I said what I said. Um, Another tax cut. I don't care about tax cuts. Eliminate unions and all worker protections. Unions are relatively new in this country's history anyway. There was a long period of time when unions doesn't exist. There are states that are, right to work states. There are all kinds of things that now unions are big in probably the battleground states like in Michigan, Wisconsin, and places. But across the South, you'll be hard pressed to find a union in the South. Yeah. Eliminate regulations on big businesses in oil. Y'all think that's new? Does that sound new to you? Raise the retirement age. What? What y'all gonna raise it to? 80, 84? We're gonna raise what we gonna raise the retirement age to? Yeah. What? But see, and these are just heritage this is this is heritage. Um, these are their talking points that they wrote together in 920-page volume. I thought the part about the civil service workers was interesting because basically they want to build a regime of like-minded people. So they're telling, but I'm gonna tell you something. I could have sussed all this out from history or the 48 laws of power. What the Project 2025 has done is just taking the laws of power, Machiavelli's The Prince, and probably the Discord, combined them all together and giving them a conservative agenda. And they're thinking the best way to achieve that agenda. So all that's while you all are treating this like a boogeyman, understand my mother, my grandmother's 97-year-old friend. What she looks at this as is that all these things have happened in her lifetime. She has lived through women without the right to have body autonomy. She lived in a community where abortions were performed with metal clothes hangers. So she's not scared. She's not scared. She's lived in a community where there was no such thing as the retirement age for black people. She has lived in a community where the Department of Education for black people didn't exist because we wasn't allowed to go to schools that was under the auspice of the Department of Education. We had laws that said separate but equal while also not having the same protections of those we were supposed to be equal to. So when you all run around here like nobody has read Project 2025 because some of you all haven't, and try to say, well, we're going to get Project 2025, and you can't point to me anywhere where Donald Trump mentioned Project 2025, but you haven't gone to his website and looked at 47. Yeah. All right. So, you all, it is 3 minutes after my time because that's what I do. That's what happens when you know the owner of the radio station and you run over and you be like, "Hey, look at me." But yeah, I've gone over, but they didn't expect. The conversation just got good. So, if you have any questions or you want to leave some comments, considering become a subscriber to the channel. Your donations will help out the channel and will help out me and doing the work we do. Or you can consider right here. Yeah, right here. That's my Cash App. If you like what we do, if you like what we are putting out, if you would like more of it, if you would like to be a part of it, hey, you can have a question, give me a Cash App, send a question attached to it, and I will get to it on the air. And I will answer your question to the best of my ability. So there it is. You can follow my beacon link to the GCPR network show to get the link to where you can listen to the show anywhere you are. If you don't, if you just want to listen to it, you can listen to it. And the link is in the bio and the beacon link. You can watch me on all my platforms across social media, all of them in the beacon link, because regardless of what happens, we're going to be here. We're going to be here. Um, so consider it. Subscribe, donate, however you want to do it. It all goes to good. And yeah, thank you all.